Hi, guys. It's Marlene of Living Your Best Life, and welcome to the Sunday Talk Show. I'm very excited to share in this discussion today about why does family hurt us the most? First of all, I have to start off by thanking the members of my channel. Thank you so much for being a member of my channel, Beverly Black, Boss Life Online, Tony Clopton, Melissa King, My Econ, Van Life with Gina, Edward Smart, Tracy Ocean Fire 777, Be Amazing Sylvia, Merlin Music Channel, Pittsburgh Artist Studio, Pandy's Hair Candy and War, Dunamis Sound Mind Services, Bozo Calvin Jr., Barry Johnson, I Am Tracy Lee, Thrill Seeks, and Team Build with Geo. Thank you guys. And I want to start off with the Best Life Crew song. So, welcome everybody. Please comment, like, and share me out.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the Sunday Talk Show. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Marlene. I'm the content creator for Living Your Best Life. And today we have a great topic for the show. Today we're going to talk about family pain because family pain is a big, major pain that you can have in your life. So I just want to, it's an open panel. So you guys are welcome to come up on the panel. You don't have to turn your camera on. You can just do audio only. I would love to hear your opinion on what we're going to talk about. So let's see who's in the chat. Hey, Jay. She says, I'm driving, but I'll be listening. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And hey, Raymond, how are you? I hope you're doing well. How's your family? I hope you're doing good. Yes, and happy Sunday to you as well. Yes, you finally off now doing my mother laundry. Oh, that's so nice of you. That's great. I hope you're doing good and your family's doing good. Everybody's in good health. That's always the first and foremost thing. So today's topic is all about family pain. Why does family hurt us the most? It's a big thought. It's a big topic because so many people they use the family members sometimes they can go a little too far, a little too extreme for us and can cause us to feel disappointed, to get disappointed, can let us down, can bring us so much hurt and pain. But let's get into the topic and start talking about it. So let me remove this so you guys I could get back to you guys seeing me. Okay. So yeah, the topic, why does family hurt us so much? First of all, we have to get to the core and the root. You know, family is a really important thing. But one thing that we have to understand is that family is not always by blood. A family is what you make it. Is sometimes a friend or somebody else can be more family than blood. Family is not only linked to you by blood. Family is who is your circle of people who love you unconditionally. So it does not always have to be related to you by blood. Family can be your best friend that's been there, and that best friend can be more like a sister sometimes than your own blood. So this is an open panel. So you guys are welcome to come in on the panel. You're welcome to share your thoughts and opinions. What are some things that maybe family members do that maybe you think is not right? Maybe family members have done something to you that maybe you don't like. Oh, that's good, Raymond. That's so good. Hey, Miss Full Roller, welcome. How are you? Happy Sunday to you. I hope you're doing well. Yes, guys, and we all have family, right? But I know all of us have things that happen to us within the family, maybe that is not kind. Maybe some things that family members do, it can cause you a lot of pain. It can cause you a lot of hurt, a lot of difficulty, a lot of struggle. And sometimes I believe family pain that is things that is like needless. Like it's not things that even, it doesn't even make any sense why sometimes family members do things. And I'll tell you guys, sometimes the root cause of why family members do things to you is because of jealousy. And jealousy, it's very evil. Jealousy is very evil because people just don't like you, just maybe sometimes because the way you look, maybe because of your personality, maybe because of the smart. You really don't know how people work the way they work, their thinking, but sometimes it's because of that. They are jealous of you and they want what you have. They wish they could do things that you can do. Maybe you have a very good thing that you're able to do, a special talent, a God given ability that maybe they don't have. So, for that reason, they're jealous of you and they wish that they could, they want to be you. That's another way of saying it. Some people just would love to be you. They would love to have your life. They would love to look the way you look. They would love to, they would love to just not be bitter, because let's just face it, some people in families, they can be the most malicious, they can be the most bitter. And, just the Bible even talks about, the tongue, that a tongue can start a woodland fire. So the things that people say to you, it can cause so much hurt that can last you for a lifetime. And sometimes it's not even that they even mean to say it, but sometimes those words, it can cause you so much anguish. It can cause you so much anguish, so much hurt behind it. And it can cause you to maybe even go into being depressed. Even some people have had suicidal thoughts and thinking, and gone through their whole life thinking that they're less than, just behind something that somebody has said to you, something that is a lie. It's not something true. One of the biggest major lies within the family, people will try to sabotage you and tell you that you can't do something, especially when it comes to schooling, because maybe they are not able to get the education maybe that you were able to get. Maybe they don't have the ability, maybe because sometimes, let's face it, some family members have mental problems, they have some mental illness, they're a little bit off. And it's not to throw shade or to make fun of, but we have to realize that some people just aren't all there. It's just not all there. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Yeah, it's true, Jay. It's so true. Some family members, they just would do anything to try to sabotage you, try to do anything to even try to emulate you. Some people wish that they could just do some things. Have you ever seen you do something and that same family member does the same thing like you? For example, you get a car, then they get a car very similar to yours, or you get a certain item of clothing or shoes or something, and it's just like, always I do this, and then they have to try to either do the same thing or try to one up you, try to do something just a little better than you, to make the light come off of you. Because some people, family members included, love to be in the limelight. They want the light to shine on themselves. They want everybody to look at them and say, hi, look at me, don't pay attention to them, it's all about me. And I think that's an awful thing, that you can't allow somebody else to shine. You can't allow somebody else to just be, because they're just not happy about themselves. They want you to be down. They want you to be in a dark a deep pit just like they are. Yep, even parents can be jealous of their own children. Yes, Miss Full Roller, say that again. And it's not something that's really talked about, but parents really can be jealous of their children, especially back in the day, how people used to, um, the parents, maybe they weren't able to get certain education. I know it was the case for my family. My parents weren't able to go anything past middle school because just back then, that if you did not have the money within the family, back then they had to pay to go to high school and college. And if the family didn't have that, you know, that can start off a jealousy within a parent that you're able to go to high school, college, certain things, and they treat you a little differently. That wasn't the case in my family because my mom and dad wanted me to get more education. They wanted me to be better than them. But I can understand how a parent can be jealous of their child, especially if the child maybe has very good looks, they have natural talents and abilities, they're able to be very good at certain subjects, they excel, and they don't like that attention. They want them to be less than them. Yeah, parental jealousy cuts extremely deep. It does because it just, I don't know. I think you grow up thinking that your mom and your dad is supposed to be your biggest supporter. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks that way, but that's how I always thought. I always thought that a parent, a mother, or a father, or anybody who's playing a parental role should be your biggest supporter, that everything that you are doing, they should be right beside you, supporting you and encouraging you, boosting you up and making you feel good about yourself. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes the parent wants to sabotage you so that you can be in the same boat as them, because unfortunately sometimes some parents don't want you to be better than them. They don't want you to have better experiences than them. They don't want you to have a better life than they had. They want you to struggle because they struggled, and that's far too sad. Hey, Donna, mod in the house. I got a mod in the house. I got a mod in the house. Hey, welcome, Donna. Thank you so much for coming. Happy Sunday to you. Hey, Diana, how are you? Happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a great day. I hope your family is well. Let's see who else is in the house. Hey, we got another mod in the house. We got a mod in the house. Hey, Edward, welcome. Happy Sunday. Yes, yes, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yes, so like we were saying, sometimes the parents can be jealous of their own children, and that is a deep pain. It cuts because you don't expect, especially your mother, you'd be like, that's my mom, or that's my dad, or whoever. Sometimes it's an uncle or an auntie that has stepped into the role of being your parents. But whoever is playing a parental role, it hurts a lot when it's your mother or your father. So let's go into also sibling jealousy. It's a big and real thing. Everybody has a different personality, everybody has a different perspective and a different way of thinking. And sometimes siblings can be jealous of you. Maybe you get more attention from your parents, maybe than they did. Or maybe because, like I said earlier, maybe because you have a certain talent, maybe you're really good at doing a certain thing, and they don't like that. They don't like, it's something that most human beings don't like to see other people be accomplished. They don't like to see other people happy. They want you to be miserable because they are. And like I was saying earlier, some of it has to do with a little bit of some mental illness. Not everybody in the family unit has it all together. Sometimes their mind is not right, it's not wrapped all the way tight. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little later, about how to deal with those who have mental illness. So this is an open panel discussion. You guys are free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Come up on the panel, and you don't have to turn your camera on. You can just share your thoughts and your opinions about why do you think this happens within a family? Why does family members hurt us so much? Why do they cause so much pain to us? Thank you, Edward. I appreciate that. And if you guys could like me and share me out, that's very much appreciated. Yeah, guys. So after the family, you got the parental jealousy, you have the sibling jealousy, you can have the auntie, uncle, cousin jealousy. All of that is like a major problem, and it can make your life very difficult when you're growing up if you have jealousy within your own family, because instead of family members coming together, supporting each other, you're kind of always at odds with each other, hurting each other, causing each other pain. And that's not good, because it starts off you as your foundation, especially in your childhood, to cause you to make you feel like, is this the normal? Is this how it's supposed to be? And if you don't fix that, um, when you get a little older, you're going to bring another generation of children into thinking that it's normal to be at odds with each other, to put each other down, to tear each other down, to talk about each other behind your back. And that's a big, major pain within the family that causes a lot of pain when other family members say things behind your back, especially things that are not true. A lie in a family, it starts a fire within the family unit, and then other people in the family members, they side with that, and other people maybe don't believe it, but you have the family unit now split up because some family members believe that lie, that you did something to them or whatever it is that they made up. And now you got those people on those side, against you, trying to cause your life to be miserable. And it really does cause your life to be miserable, because you're trying to defend yourself, but you can't make people believe you if that's what they want to believe. Hey, James, welcome and happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for coming and being here. Yeah, guys, it causes so much pain when family members do things like this. And the question always is why? Why do family members do things like this? Why do they cause so much pain to you? Why do they do things like that? I've always asked that question. Why do people do what they do? Why do they cause so much pain? Why do they cause so much hurt? And at the core of it, a lot of times, like I said in the beginning, it's jealousy. But another reason is mental illness. And after that, after the jealousy, after the mental illness, another thing is that people just don't want you to succeed. And I think that it's terrible that family members, especially somebody, a family's supposed to be loving, supporting, encouraging you. And when they always say things, especially nasty, mean, cruel things, and I know some of the things that family members say to each other, they'll tell a child from their young that, that they're ugly, that they'll never be anybody, that they're not smart enough, that that they will never be able to do anything, that nobody will ever like them. It kind of sets up your mind to, you start off in your life with low self-esteem. You have lots of doubts. You feel that you can't do anything. And sometimes that's the reason why people don't try to do new things, because their family member has set them up to already fail before they even start. For example, I can tell you guys, when I was younger, I used to always be told that, not they didn't say anything about me, but they used to say things like, why can't you do anything like your brother? Why can't you be like your sister? And I think that causes a lot of hurt and pain. For me, I don't really think my parents really meant to do that, but they were just, I don't know what they were trying to do, but that causes a lot of pain when a family member, especially your mother or your father, telling you to be like your brother or be like your sister or be like your cousin, when how can you? You have to be yourself. And And then on top of that, with the comparison, with the jealousy, now you may start having an enemy. You may start disliking your brother or your sister, whoever they're comparing you to, because you can't be them. You're setting yourself up, the parents are setting up the children to a standard that they can't be. Be like your brother, be like your sister. That's crazy. You can't. You can't be anybody but yourself. And I just wish more parents or people who play the role of parents would edify children and let them know that, you're an individual. You are okay just the way you are. I love you for who you are, not for because you are whoever your brothers or your sisters are. I love you because you're you. And that gives a child growing up knowing that they have a value, not just because they belong to the family unit, but because that they have a value on their own. And that makes a child feel good, that they have the support, that they are loved, that they are an individual. And yes, it's important, you're part of a group in a family, but it's important to teach children from the beginning as a foundation that when they show up in the world, you're okay on your own. You're okay. You have a meaning and a value. And sometimes that's not taught in the family because maybe sometimes the parents or whoever is the playing the parental role doesn't know how to give that. And sometimes I understand, I get it. Maybe they weren't given that, so they don't know how to give that to another child. But we have to understand that we have to stop, not only with children, but also as adults, stop comparing ourselves to other people, because it's a standard that you can't keep up with. You're setting yourself up to fail because you can't be like anybody else. I can't be like anybody who's in the chat, anybody who's in the replay, and they can't be me. We have to learn to be unique and be happy and satisfied with who we are as our root and our foundation. And most people don't know how to do that. And I think that that's very sad. It's very sad that people don't know how to be happy with themselves because their family doesn't support them, their family doesn't encourage them. But how do you even start? I know for myself, as a child, I went through my whole life kind of shaky because I never felt the support. If you always show up in your family as you're never good enough, you're never smart enough, you don't have any value, nobody will ever like you, you're not worth nothing, you know, it kind of makes you go through life like, then why try to do anything? And I'm telling you that even if that was what happened to you, you can change that thinking. You don't have to carry that through your whole life. Just because something happened to you in the past, it does not mean that you can't change your present. And that's what gets me excited to wake up every day. Every day when you wake up, you have a new opportunity to change today, to change this very day, the moment that you're in right now. Just because other people don't support you, maybe don't look at you the way that you would like, it's okay. You have exactly what you need to carry on. And some people, you have to leave them behind. So that's another reason why some family members not may hurt you, is because they also, they don't want you to succeed. They don't want to see that you have a potential because you'll leave them behind. And some people in the family, I mean, some family members are so brilliant, they have so much smarts, or they may be very good at something. And it's time that we have to start encouraging each other and a family member in the family unit instead of discouraging one another. And I think that happens all the time. We look at people and then we already assign them a role about what they're going to do and what they're going to be. Why not let other people define who they are? Let people define for themselves what they want to do, who they want to be. Oh, we have Miss Full Roller here in the background. So let's hear what she has to say. Hi. Do you hear me? Do you have your camera with your mic on. I think your mic is
Hi, can you
muted.
hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I
Go
hear
ahead.
you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I thought so. Oh,
Okay,
there we go.
go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Um, this is a little difficult because this really kind of hits very, very, very close to home. Um, but I think a lot of it has to do with um, the pedestal that we have put, uh, that we put family on, and especially the way uh, parents are supposed to raise children, especially back in the day. For thank goodness it is changing a lot, but back in most of our days, that's in the chat. I'm sure you are familiar with the statement, "Children are to be seen and not heard,"
Right.
and respect your parents no matter what they do. Love you're commanded and moralized to love them no matter what you do, but it's never the other way around. And that's not a relationship, that's a dictatorship. And we've put that, that type of parenting on a pedestal. And it has allowed so much abuse, just outright abuse, to be perpetuated on to children. And then when the children speak up, they're told that they're being disrespectful to the parent. That's crazy. I'm going to try to keep it clean because, like I said, this really hits close to home
I
for
I
me.
understand, Miss Full Roller, because
And it's no excuse, or it's passed off by, well, they were doing the best that they can. And what somebody's talking about is not whether they were able to buy, the latest toy or this or that. But there is absolutely no excuse to abuse your children, to emotionally abuse them, to tear their self-esteem down, to sexually abuse them, which that goes on so much in this community that we don't know about and we're just discovering about. But yet it's passed off as, oh, that's your parent, that's your mother, that's your father. You have to love them regardless.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll add to that, Miss Full Roller, that one of the things is they always talking about like you obeying your parents and honoring your parents and all of that, but honor and respect is earned. If somebody talks down to somebody, that's how are you going to respect somebody who makes you feel that you don't feel safe? If you feel like you're in a threatened environment, who is going to want to listen? Even a dog, if you don't treat a dog, a pet, right, they're going to attack you. And and it's time that as human beings that we learn to dignify and respect each other,
Yes,
even children. Allow them to have the freedom to have an opinion, even if it's different than ours.
I agree. And I also, especially to piggyback on that, I do not believe, don't believe that this thing that children are these blank slates that are to be molded, and you're to make them into you. They didn't come in this world as you. They came into this world as them, just like a seed. Whatever flower, tree, whatever seed. That seed is what it is, even as a seed. It's the same with children.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's like the parents don't want to get to know who this being is that they brought into the world. Yes, you're responsible for them, to get them to where they are functioning, functioning adults. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't give you the license to be a dictator and to be just a pure,
Yeah.
butthole.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say because I want to say it too because I think sometimes
And
as
why would you want to inflict the same kind of pain on your children if you came from that environment?
Mhm. I think sometimes, Miss Full Roller, is that some people aren't willing to make the changes because it's easy if you grew up in an environment where you were always yelling and you think yelling is the only way to have a conversation, or you think hitting is a way of showing love. You grew up in a toxic environment, so that's all you know. It's difficult for you to be able to look at yourself and say, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's not good. That's not healthy. But most people aren't willing to put themselves in that bracket because people want to make it seem like they're okay all the time. And sometimes you just aren't. Sometimes you aren't. And you need to take some time to work on yourself and heal some wounds from your past so that you don't continue to make another generation think that what you have been through is acceptable.
Yeah. You're exactly right about that. But I have heard that, even that statement, what you just said, I've heard it so many times. Like, well, that's the way, it was done to me, and I'm still here. So, it's good enough.
Mhm. Yeah,
Would
and it's not okay. It's not okay to keep hurting children. It's not okay to invalidate their opinions and their thoughts because that's something that happens a lot. Parents or even people who are older, they always say that, like they're always right. And sometimes you're not. Sometimes if you can listen to a child can have a lot of wisdom, and it's not always by experience, just because of who they are and their personality. They can just bring you some wisdom and save you from some heartache and some pain if you would just allow yourself to listen to somebody else's opinion. But there is that stereotype or what they call it, stigmatism that um, with age comes wisdom, and that's not always right. So it's not always wisdom. If you never make any changes, if you keep doing the same wrong things, you're just going to have another generation and another generation of pain.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So, why do you think that's the question that I want to ask everybody? Why do you think that family members think it's okay to hurt us? Why do some family think that it's okay to hurt or treat you any type of way?
Do you think, now this is a thought that I've had, and I wanted to ask you this question.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of talk about being an individual, being a leader. However, people can continue to follow the herd, like you say, because it keeps getting perpetuated generation after generation after generation.
Mhm.
So it seems to me that people really are followers, and they're afraid to challenge the status quo and say, no, this is not right.
Mhm. I believe that. I believe that 100% because have you ever seen like a family members, the child who's the first person who wants to go to college, or the first person to want to get a home, or the first to do anything, and other family members challenge them like, why were you going to want to do that? We've always done this. Or a person who wants to free themselves financially from debt, And they said, why? Just leave it to your children, make them worry about it.
Hmm.
People don't want to put in the hard work to make changes or make life for future generations better. They want to stay in, it's comfortable for them to accept the societal norm. But somebody has to want to change it.
And then the one that does want to change it is looked at as the black sheep, or well, not or, it's really and. You get this. Well, you think you're better than the rest of us when you call out. What is that? The emperor that call out that the emperor ain't got no clothes on.
Yeah. Yep. That's how it goes. Unfortunately, anybody who wants to what they call stir the pot, you have to bring things from the bottom to the surface at a certain point, but it takes a person who's strong enough, who has a determination for justice, to be able to say this isn't right. And somebody at a certain point has to say something is not right in a family. And the thing that causes me pain in a family is that sometimes, like you were saying, abuse is happening in the family, all kinds of abuse, and other family members see it, know of it, and they'll hide it. They'll never report it. They'll never go to the police because they'll just say, oh, that's the way they are, or that's the way things have always been, or that's how women should be treated, when that it's just not right. It's sickening, actually.
Or what goes on in this house stays in this house, or what goes on in this family stays in this family.
Yeah. Yeah, but there has to be, at a certain point, some family member who says this is not right, whether anybody accepts it or whether somebody else doesn't accept it or they don't like it. That doesn't matter. Somebody has to stand for justice and say this is not the way a child should be treated. This is not the way any human being should be treated, and it's not right. But most family members want to just be on the side of, because we are related by blood, that anything that they do or say is acceptable, and it's not. You have to call people out and tell them when they're wrong. And who cares if other people don't like it? What is wrong is wrong.
That takes a lot of courage. Yep. That takes a huge amount of courage, because not only are you going to get the backlash of your family members, the ones who want to remain in that, probably because most likely the one who does call it out, stand up to it, because once that person makes that decision and makes that move, it becomes quite noticeable, you know, because all the stuff that, the masks started to come off, and the stuff that was, able to keep hidden now is, the rug, it's kind of been flipped up where you can see underneath it. And not only do you have to deal with that, and sadly, those same family members will, mess up your reputation amongst people that know you. I have even heard of situations. Now, fortunately, that part hasn't happened to me, but I've heard of situations where people have even sabotaged their family members' children's employment, livelihoods with lies, because that person, came out and said, no, this is not going to continue. And also society in and of itself, because unless people have actually been through it, they can't wrap their heads around that a mother would, be jealous of her own daughter or son, or a father jealous of their own daughter or son, or abuse their own child. They can't wrap their heads around it. So what do they tell you? Oh, it wasn't that bad, or you have to love you, but that's your mother. But they never say to the parent, especially, and a lot of times, if they're outside of the family, family environment, like extended family friends, friends that you treat like family
Right.
and have some idea of what's going on. And then when the person comes out with, with the thing, uh, it's like, oh, but that's your parent, that's your mother, that's your father. But they don't go to them and say, but that was your child.
Yeah.
Why did you do that to your child? And why didn't you step in when you saw it?
Mhm. And I will say, Miss Flora, is something very tragic, and it's happening every day. Um, I'm not saying it doesn't happen vice versa, but sometimes a mother will know that some sexual is
Mm-hmm.
abuse is going on within the family. They'll know that their husband, or maybe even if they know it's their child, is doing things that is wrong sexually to other family members, but they'll cover it up because, first of all, they don't want to admit it to themselves. They don't want to admit that that person has a problem. They don't want to tarnish the family name. Um, but most of all, they don't even care about how it could be hurting the individual that it happened to. They're not thinking about how they're going to be scarred for the rest of their life. They would rather hide, under that mask, as you said.
Yeah, because they don't want to give up whatever benefits, I guess, that they're getting as a result you know, of being in the family, or sadly enough, using that, using the family member that's being abused basically as a shield, so that they're not that so the abuse isn't turned onto them.
Hmm.
It's like, well, better you than me.
Hmm. Yeah. It's like sometimes in a family, sometimes one of the older kids takes the physical abuse or sexual abuse, whatever, just so that the other younger siblings don't have to endure it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they can. Yeah.
Yeah, if they can.
Uh, do you know the story of the barges?
Yeah, I do.
Mm, that
Yeah.
is.
For you guys who haven't seen it, they have it on Tubby TV. Do you know what that is, Miss Full Roller?
Mm-mm, no.
It's well, I don't have cable. It is you can download it if you have a smart TV, and you can watch so many shows, and they have actually made um a show about I think it was one of the DeBarges. I think it was Barry DeBarge when he passed away. It's one of them.
Tommy. I think it was Tommy
Tommy, that's who it was.
that just
Tommy,
passed
when
away.
he passed away, that was the story, and it's on Tubby TV right now. If you look it up, and you can watch it for free because Tubby TV you don't pay anything. And I just watched it, and it's incredible all the things that happened to them, and that's just a little part of it because they can't show
Hmm.
you everything in a movie, but yeah,
Right.
that's available if you guys want to watch that.
So that's the only thing I can come up with as to why family would want to hurt you, but
Mm,
I don't think I will ever be able to wrap my head around that.
mm,
I just can't. I mean, especially if I'm okay with it if you don't if people don't turn around and play the family card, the blood is thicker than water, or want to pull the Bible verse out, honor thy mother and thy father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. If y'all don't pull that in, I
Mm-hmm.
can maybe get with what what folks saying. But when you want to bring that in, I completely turn off. I turn off from you.
Yeah.
Because how can you do this to your own flesh and
Yeah.
blood? How can you do that? Especially when you want to say blood is thicker than water,
Mm-hmm.
but you abuse your own blood.
Mm-hmm. And
Go
I just wanted to say for a moment, and I wanted to say also for a moment, it's not always just the parents or the siblings. Sometimes it can be your aunties, uncles, cousins, doing things within the family to make your life absolutely unbearable and
hmm
miserable.
Yeah, still blood.
Absolutely unbearable.
hmm
The
Yeah, it's
amount of
still blood.
pain that is caused sometimes that you would not even believe how some people, and I'm not justifying it or making it seem like it's right, but sometimes because of all of that pain, all of that hurt, that's the reason why people go to those drugs. They go to the alcohol,
Yes.
or they go to the suicide because they're trying to have something to cover up the pain. Because
hmm
if you never find a way to cope with that pain, you're going to find something to help you to live with it.
Yes, exactly. Same here. Um, it's hard for people who, if you've never, like I said, been through that, or through something like that, to understand why, um, why people would turn to drugs. And it is to just stop, try to stop the pain, or try to just feel better, try to make it go away, try to numb it, something. Because when it's a person that you don't know very well, or even just say kind of know well, but they're not related to you by blood. I'm not saying that makes it any easier to deal with, but it's a different cut,
Yeah.
you know. It's like when I say do a Marlene, like the little emoji that you like to put in the
Yeah, the
chat.
knife.
Yeah, trying to lighten it up a little bit. Um, it's like you take that side, that big one, and it just just dig it in, like you're using a chisel, and just pound it in a little bit deeper, and then take a wrench and twist it
Right.
when it's family. So yeah, that's why people do that. It's and definitely the suicide, because the suicide will definitely end it.
Yeah.
It makes it stop.
Yeah. See, I think it has to be at a certain point. And sometimes, being honest, I can say for my situation, sometimes it takes somebody in the family passing away, the person who was that big threat, or or them not being in the equation, like they've moved away or they passed away or something. And then now family members can come in and come together and start talking about things, because sometimes that person is so controlling over the family that they control everything, and they don't allow progress to happen or healing to take place within the family.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand sometimes um how family can just um make that seem like it's okay, and it's not okay. It's not okay. And
No, it's
it,
not. I
it,
don't
it
think.
can it can cause your whole life to be miserable, and you to not be able to do some things maybe that maybe you would have done Because if you just give somebody just a little support, just a little bit of giving them the I believe in you, I'm here for you, that can make somebody, the whole trajectory of somebody's life change. To not have no support to having full support, it changes everything in the dynamic of your future life.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And also to for people to be a bit more um, open minded, especially um, when you're looking at a family dynamic, because you're from the outside. Because for the most part, um, a lot of that behavior is done behind closed doors, and to stop passing judgment on people because you don't know what was going on, you know, um,
Yeah.
and be more open minded. Because yeah, it's happening. It's been happening. Like Will Smith said about something else. It's not that it's on the rise. It's just being filmed more.
Yeah.
Stuff is coming out more. And sadly, people are getting bolder, you know,
Yeah.
where it's,
And
out in the open.
And I think that it has to be more people willing to stand up and say things aren't right. And most people don't want to do that.
Yeah,
That's just the truth. Most people in families will say, they always hide behind, like, I love you. And for them, I love you means covering up.
exactly. Shut up.
Yeah. Zip your mouth.
Yep. That,
Yeah.
that's what I said earlier when I said it takes a lot of courage, because you, for the most part, you're not going to get a whole lot of support um, from, maybe some of those in the family who see it, have seen it, what's been going on, but they themselves were too afraid to, stand up. But they're secretly rooting for you, but they won't stand up. They won't really stand with you and let it be known that they're standing with you.
Mhm.
And like I say, most people in general in society can't, wrap their heads around it. And therefore, you won't get any support because of that. The parental thing, the family thing being put on such a pedestal. It's like a sacred cow. How dare you talk bad about this sacred cow?
Mhm. And what I will say is that sometimes the person who is the person who makes the biggest problem for the family with whatever it is that they're doing, they're the ones that appear to the outside as being the best person in the world.
Yes.
They make it seem like they're such a good person and they're so kind, and like, and they'll go overboard to do loving and kind things for people, other people. But when it comes to their own seed or their own, blood family, they would never do a thing to you. In fact, they'll do everything to hurt you and hinder your life.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yep. And it goes on way more than people. I don't know. I'm at this point, and maybe it's because I'm getting older, and even though I'm getting a bit more open, but sad to say, I'm getting a bit more cynical. And the reason I'm saying that is because I think people are seeing it, but because they don't want to rock their boat, mess up, especially if they're getting some benefit out of that relationship with that person, they're not going to rock that boat for you.
No. See,
So,
most of the time, what happens with most people is they will know about your situation. They may even feel sorry for the situation and the things that you have gone through, or what you're dealing with, but they're not willing to be able to say, well, I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be uncomfortable or do anything, but I'm sorry that happened to you, but they would never say anything to support you or to be on your side.
Hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And and that's not good because I think a lot of times what happens in society is, especially children who act out and do things like commit crimes and do certain things, they're just acting out on whatever's happening to them in their home.
Mhm.
It's just a reaction because they're not getting the attention, the love, the support that they deserve at home. They go outside and they're looking for from outsiders. And especially I even hear now at the age of maybe 8, 9 years old, some of these young girls now are getting pregnant. And I don't care what anybody says, to me that's abuse. No
Mhm.
9 year old shouldn't be taking place in that type of activity, and something is not going on at home.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. I kind of wonder, like you said, acting out that way, hoping to maybe draw the attention of, because and that's a sickening feeling when you see the adults around you, when you kind of, the adults are there, sometimes the family members, sometimes that mask slips a little bit,
Hmm.
you know, especially when they get them spirits in them. And I ain't talking about no Holy Ghost either. I'm talking about the other spirits.
Hmm.
Um, and the mask slips and the behavior kind of comes out. And the other family members see this. So, and this is happening on numerous occasions. But the other family members are seeing this. The child, on some level, realizes help ain't coming via these folks.
Hmm.
So that might be why they're acting out, to hopefully maybe the authorities might step in and come to the house and see what's going on.
Well, I can tell you for myself because Miss Fuller, I'm not a person that care. I don't care about sharing my story, but for me, when I got to the point where I started having the anorexia and the suicidal thoughts and suicide attempts, it's just because I was just like, nobody cares about me at home, nobody supports me, so why even be here? uh, it's been shown. You're seeing, because I'm showing everybody like, hello, I'm 70 pounds as a 14-year-old, and nobody has said a word to me.
Yeah,
Nobody noticed. So doesn't that show you something is wrong?
yeah,
How do you
absolutely.
not see your child go from 100 pounds or 115 pounds down to 70 and say something like, what's going on?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was my teacher who actually saved my life.
exactly.
Mhm. My
Yes.
teacher saved my life because she was like, because she saw me like within a few months, like, Marlene, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think of that until it was the way you said it that
Mhm.
made me, take that thought process. I never thought of it that way, but definitely the no, that feeling. I absolutely know that feeling when you realize that the adults around you ain't seeing that help ain't coming that way. And like you said, you get to the point, and I was there, got to the
Mhm.
point where, why am I here?
Mhm.
And now I'm not where you are as in terms of um, religion, but I still question, how can a supreme being let stuff like this happen to children?
Mhm.
I'm going to keep asking that question because I haven't gotten an answer yet.
Right.
And it's a really sick feeling, you know. And I've definitely contemplated as a child. I
Mm-hmm.
need to just get on up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now I don't know what. Maybe it's the Aries in me. Maybe it's something else in me. But I finally said, nah. Y'all might not want me here, but I ain't going out like that. Because I'm not gonna let you say, oh, I drove her crazy enough for her to end her life. Nah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how can you not see it?
Yeah. Well, that was my thing. At first, I just started off, see, I didn't mean to get an eating disorder. That's not how I was starting off. I just said every time I would get upset, I would say, I'm just not going to eat. That's how it
Hmm.
started off until I just started saying, well, that's the only thing I can control. So why should I eat? You know?
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, well, if this
Mm.
is how my life is going to be, then who cares about eating? Like, I didn't care about anything anymore. I was like, who cares about how you look? Who cares about, being clean, taking care of yourself? Yeah.
Ooh. You
Yeah. I was looking rough when I was 14. Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
ooh, you may have given me something that I'm going to have to try to bring forth, pick apart. Because I was told I don't I do vaguely remember there was a period where I didn't want to eat,
Mm.
anything that was cooked, uh, or anything that was prepared. And I got in really big trouble once it was discovered, what I was doing. Uh, but I don't remember much of my life prior to that. So there's a lot of processing.
Yeah.
That's why I said this topic definitely hit very, very close to home.
Right. See, and the thing about that, Miss Full Roller, is that I had to learn to start being honest with myself. It's a part of me that wants to say and still wants to say that didn't happen, but I know it did. And you can't progress in your life if you can't be transparent with your own self. I have to say that wasn't good. What was happening to me, it wasn't good. What I did as a reaction to it, but
Mhm.
that's how I coped. That was my coping mechanism. It was the only thing in my life I could control. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
I
I can't
definitely.
control other things, so I'm gonna control this. I was like, they can't make me eat. They can't make me fix myself up. They can't they can't make me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna. Mhm.
Mm.
Until one day I realized that I didn't even realize that I was harming myself. I thought it was a payback to them for what they were doing for me. But when I realized that they didn't care, I was like, I think we're going to want to try something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, I never looked at that part. Um, I never looked at that part because, like I say, it was kind of a family joke, as far as that period, when I was doing that. But
Mhm.
my chair was in front of the stove. The stove, was one of those stoves where the oven and the burner part is connected together. It's kind of tall. I'm sure you
Right.
remember seeing those.
Yeah.
Um, my chair was backed up to it, and there was, I guess, a space small enough for me to actually put food behind it. So I guess I would take it off a little bit at a time to make it look like I was eating and
Mhm.
hide it back there. But it was never processed as to why I was doing that. And of course, folks are upset because I'm constantly sick and having to, having to be taken to the doctor, and father mad because he's got to come up with the bill,
Hmm.
for the doctor. And like I said, all this time I had never looked back on that.
Mm, wow. Yeah. It was forced because my teacher, when I was 14, made me, it was my last period of the day. Back then, you used to have 7 periods in school, and she was my last period of the day. And she was like, I want you to stay after school. And I was like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? I was like, what? I was like, I've been good. And she said, no, 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 because I just want to talk to you. And she was one of those sisters who rapped to me like, so what's really going on? And then, of course, in the beginning, you try like, oh, everything's. And she says,
Right.
stop the smile. And she says, I'm not playing with you.
Wow.
She says, don't try to pull it. She says, because if I have to, I'll go to your house. What's going on? So it was one of those things like, you better speak, because she was like, either you can talk to me or you can talk to what is it called? Child Protective Services.
Yeah, the CPS.
Yeah. So it was one of those. So it was like, okay, you might as well say what's really going on. And that's when it went through all the things.
Hmm.
Because, when you're in the situation, you don't really think it's as bad as when you start
Right.
saying it. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, and that this happened and this, and she's looking at her eye. I'm seeing her eyes getting bigger and bigger. And I'm looking at her like, what?
Yeah.
Because I had learned to live with it so long that this is my norm,
Right. Exactly.
and it's not normal.
Exactly.
It's not normal.
Exactly. Nope. It absolutely isn't. Uh,
So,
wow.
yeah. And then that's when it was forced. It was one of those things that if my parents did not go to therapy, they were going to lose me to the state.
Mm,
So you better fix her, or yeah, or she's gone. So that's the only reason. That's one of the details I didn't really tell you guys when I talk about the story about all of that stuff. But that's why they started going to therapy with me, because it was mandatory.
mandatory. Okay. Mm,
And that's when the air in the home changed, because then they realized that they can't just do whatever they want to, because now they realize, now we got somebody watching her.
mhm.
So that's when things started changing, when they start asking me like, what color clothes do you want to wear? I don't know if you guys understand that, but it's a thing that irritated me as a child, that your clothes was just bought for you.
Oh, it was the same when I was growing up. And I,
Yeah,
I think I'm a little bit older than you, but yeah, did you? I know I didn't. Maybe other kids did, but I never had any choice
never.
in
Mm.
what I bought. I mean, on what was worn. I guess that's why sometimes when I joke about some of the fashions of the 70s,
Hmm.
I guess I'm joking about it because I'm really kind of traumatized because some of that stuff I couldn't absolutely stand.
Yeah, I know. But one of the things that used to irritate me, Miss Full Roller, growing up as a child, is that because my brother, who was a little bit older than me, I got his hand me downs.
Mm,
And to me, I felt like that didn't make me feel like I was a girl.
right.
And I think that, I don't even think my mom even thought that way, but it's like, he's a boy. Why are you giving your daughter boys'
Mm,
clothes?
right.
Which caused me to get clowned and bullied in school and all. And then that gave me issues, because people were like, are you a boy? How come you wear boys' clothes? And then I started thinking, am I a boy? So that
Hmm.
started giving me some, what is it called? Inferior,
Really, identity.
yeah, identity complexes. Because I was like, am I a boy? Because
Hmm.
does she want me to be a boy? And sorry,
Hmm.
I started thinking that way. So does she not want me to be here, or does she want a son? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Oh, definitely.
I don't even think my mom was trying to go there with me. I think maybe they were just doing the best that they could. But I was like, but why? I don't understand why my parents, see, the thing was back then, they didn't have the money to buy me clothes, but why couldn't they go to agencies that would give them clothes?
Hmm.
See,
Right.
that's another issue that I had as well. They always wanted to make it seem like everything was a well-oiled machine and everything was going perfectly, when there is nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you need some help.
The image,
The image.
holding up the or appearances. That's probably the more
Mm,
accurate
there you
term.
go.
Yeah, and that's I think why family does hurt the other family members is to keep up the appearances.
Right.
And usually the ones that they're hurting are the ones who are in the least position to defend themselves
Yeah.
because like I said earlier, the uh, childhood environment was you ask no questions, you do not talk back, even if and I'm going to make this example really extreme, but I think it's very descriptive of the childhood that back in our time, as
Mhm.
kids. If your parent told you to go jump off a cliff, you better jump off that cliff
Right.
because and if you happen to make it down at the bottom, uh or if you decided not to, knowing that there's a pretty high probability that I might not live if I hit the bottom,
Mhm.
folks will be like, didn't your parents tell you to jump off that cliff? Why you ain't jumping
Mhm.
off that cliff?
And you never questioned what they said, even when it didn't make any sense. Because
When it didn't
sometimes
make sense.
back in the day, it did not make any sense.
A lot of stuff that they said made absolutely no
Absolutely no
sense.
sense.
But you as the child still you know, had to obey.
And not only obey, you had to do it, with your head bowed. Yes, ma'am. It was just another form of slavery.
Hmm.
I talk about that all the time with some of my friends. Your childhood can be a form of slavery.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Servitude, definitely servitude.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, people
Exactly.
wonder why a lot of times, especially when those parents get older, when those children are adults, a lot of times, because I've heard this statement mentioned many times of people that work in nursing homes. Their kids ain't coming to visit them. There's probably a
Mm,
good dang reason why.
yes. Hmm. And I'll tell you something, Miss Barola, working in the medical field, I actually have seen that with my own two eyes. Seen people in a nursing home, seen people in the hospital, and I have actually seen people on their deathbed asking for people to come, and they'll actually say, they are dying. Come and see them. And they will say, where were they when I needed them?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the response. And it's like, whoo, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
you must have put some sort of pain on them.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm,
there's a lot of family trauma. Uh, I guess you would say generational trauma within
mhm,
family. We paint this rosy picture, uh, of especially, if it was a two parent household. Not all two-parent households is,
hmm.
some of these kids, some of these,
Ooh-wee.
been through hell. Yeah, and there's no other nice way to say it.
Yeah.
Some of these kids been through hell, and like that is hard to wrap your head around. Coming out of that, I think it's an accomplishment it's more than an accomplishment. I mean, you need an Academy, an Oscar, a Tony, uh, all those awards. If you didn't do a Menendez, the Menendez brothers, uh, if you didn't do that too, those people,
Yeah.
that's an accomplishment.
Yeah. I always say if you can escape from the trauma that happened to you as a child and come out on the other side without having to take medication or be in a tight jacket, you did well.
You did well,
You did
absolutely.
well.
Not and not on drugs and all
Yeah,
that other
not on
stuff.
drugs,
You are
not on drugs,
alcohol.
not on alcohol.
You
You're not in prison because that's another issue that happens to people with a painful past from
hmm
the childhood. They get angry and then they go and do wrong things and then make their life even worse than what it was.
yeah. Yeah, because it's so much and see that's another thing that tends to go on is the family members take their issues out on the lesser ones, and they can't express, they can't even defend themselves. That's wrong to defend yourself. So that's a whole lot of pent up anger that ends up coming out on somebody.
Mm. And most of the time the individual who gets the wrath is just a person who, you know, they're just trying their best. And most of the time they are a victim themselves.
hmm
And then it's just a disaster. It's just like problems on top of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just problems on top of problems. And even honestly, I'll be honest with you, Miss Flora, I never felt comfortable to open up and to share my story and talk about it while my parents were still living.
I understand because part of my issues didn't come out until well after my father passed.
Mm.
My mother is still living. We no longer have a relationship because it got to that point
Mm-hmm.
where, um, for my sanity,
Right.
or so that I wouldn't end up, you know,
Yeah.
behind bars.
I
Um,
know. I know what you said. I know what you're saying.
I had to cut it. But yeah, it didn't come out, and that's what some of the other family members want to get mad. It's like, well, why didn't you say something? However, it in a conversation, it ended up coming out that they kind of had an idea of some of the stuff that was going on.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
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 So then I'm like, well, why didn't you step in
Yeah.
when everybody was still here? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that nobody wants to take that up on their shoulders. Everybody just wants to sweep things under the rug or pretend as situations in a family did not happen. I'll just say for some things, for example, if you know somebody in the family is an alcoholic or a person in the family has a drug problem or a person has whatever issue they have, everybody in the family just acts like that individual does not exist or they act like that issue is not existing and they'll act like that person in the family is invisible.
Yeah.
Ignoring a situation does not make it go away.
No.
It
No.
doesn't.
Nope. It definitely
It
does not.
doesn't. And I think most family members don't. They either one don't want to be responsible for trying to fix it, or sometimes they're just tired. They're tired of that person because most of the time they've done so many wrong things to them, treated them in all kinds of things, especially we have people who have a drug, alcohol problem. They probably stole from you, done things to you, and they're just over them. So
Yeah.
I do understand why you're doing something sometimes to protect yourself, but sometimes you got to reach down and save some of those vulnerable people who, as an adult, that you do have a little bit of power that you can save somebody who is a victim, because you are at fault at a certain point when you know something and you know you could help somebody and you just act like it does not exist.
Mhm.
You have some responsibility in that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. And that used to be my issue a long time, Miss Full Roller, in my family. A long time. It's like, you knew. Don't
Yeah.
act like you don't. I was like, please. So, like, oh, how come you didn't tell me? You know how, like, they'll say, oh, like they're so innocent. Oh, how come you? Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. That it was the same at first. Uh
Hmm.
with me because I had kind of got the impression, well maybe they don't know because we were in
Right.
a whole nother state, and they were in another state, so I'm thinking, well, maybe they don't know because you're not here. And then that
Mhm.
discussion happened, and something I started to say something, and something told me, just be quiet.
Mm.
And that's when it came tumbling out. And all of the it was almost like they were trying to one up each other's story.
Oh. Oh.
And that's when it hit me. Y'all knew.
Hmm.
I cut them all off then.
Wow.
I cut them off because
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't, it didn't happen, say, immediately, but after I decided to step away from uh, my mother's issues and her
Hmm.
behavior, then they came at me. Well, that's your mother.
Ooh.
That's when the cut happened.
Yeah.
I cut. I was like, um, like that. I don't know if you've seen that meme on IG. Uh, the lady, I don't know if that's a comedian or something that's voicing that, but says, I'm gonna let God handle it, because if I handle it, I'm going to prison.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's how I chose to to
Hmm.
go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it just, that feeling, I was almost sick to my stomach when that realization hit, like I was standing under a wall that had just collapsed and a ton of bricks had just fell on me, to
Mm.
realize after all of that time.
Mm.
Because some of the behavior, I was too young to even remember any of it, because I really don't remember too much prior to the age of 6 or 7. I really don't remember any of my childhood as far as that.
Mm.
And I'm like, at first they were like, oh, we didn't know. And then they start talking, oh yeah, this, and you remember when she did, yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Oh, well, you might not have known the situation that happened with my father, but you knew the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I
should have
have
been
zero
enough.
respect for you.
Yeah. That should have been enough. I always say you don't have to know everything, but if you know something is something dangerous, especially involving a child, see, that's where I draw a line. I try not to get into family business, but then when it starts to involve a child, now, now it's personal.
Yeah.
I was like, I may not have been able to be saved when I was a child, but to the best of my ability, I'm going to try my best to make sure that it does not happen to another child.
Yes. And I do the same thing if I know of, um, or if I see some behavior, I'm like, you might not like me, but I'm finna give you a piece of my mind at this moment. What you're doing
Mhm.
is not right.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
And who cares who doesn't like it? And that's the thing in the family. Who cares who likes you, because they're already showing you that they don't care. They're already showing you they don't care. They're not going to support you. They won't be there for you. So why do we even value the opinions of family members that already showing you that they don't care about you? But
Hmm.
we want to protect them. We want to make it seem like, oh yeah, they're my family member and they love me. When they're already showing you that there's no way they love you. There's no way that they care about you, because somebody who cares about you will, I don't know, they'll stand up for you and they'll support you.
Yes, especially when now I don't expect anybody to stand up for you, stand up for me when I'd have done just, you know, stupid, stupid stuff. But when, that person hasn't done anything to deserve that and you just stand there, I have, any respect. I don't care if you are 2 years older than me, 10 years older than me, 15 years, so-called elder.
Right.
No, you just an old fool. I have zero respect for you. None.
Exactly.
Nada. Zilch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big believer. I think the issue that I usually have with family is that when family members see something that is wrong, and then they'll say things like, "Oh, that's the way they are," and then everybody would just
Yes.
be like, "Uh-huh, yeah." No, no, no. It's no, that's how they are.
Exactly.
There's some behavior that is no.
Yeah.
I say that's
There's
criminal.
absolutely no.
That's abuse. That's whatever it is. It's not just that's the way it is. No,
Mhm.
it's not.
I agree.
Yeah.
We are 100% in agreement on that one.
Yeah. Right will always be right and wrong will always be wrong. It doesn't matter who likes it.
And to me, it's even more. There's like an extra layer of H to the no when you do it to family.
Mhm.
There's an extra layer added for me. There's
Yeah.
an extra absolute zero tolerance.
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
there's no excuse.
Yeah,
There's
and
absolutely no excuse.
yeah, and what I don't like is when a family member does something wrong, right? And then other people in the family will just act like it didn't happen.
Hmm.
They'll act like it didn't happen. I was like, and I'll, you'll bring something up, and everybody say, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that." What do you mean, don't worry about that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that people have to learn that you got to call people out. It does not matter who they are in the family, mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, whoever you are. If you did something wrong, everybody shouldn't be like, "Oh, okay, that's how they are," like with a smile on their face, like
Hmm.
whatever, like should just go over your head.
Yeah,
No,
like it gives a pass.
yeah, just give them the family pass. No, yeah, they do, Teresa. People always give that excuse. That's the way they are.
Hmm. Yeah, I am so or either that one, that's the way they are, or that was the times. Uh, that's the way things were done back then.
Mhm.
Mm, it's
Yeah.
like I gotta walk away for because
Yeah, I know. Like I used to say all the time, I was like, I said, I don't think I'm suited for the prison life, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do my own thing here and keep on going. Oh, I think her device is not connected. It says they need to connect. I think Miss Bowroller, you got disconnected some type of way. But yeah, I think that it's crazy sometimes the things that happen to people in the family. especially when a family member has a problem, an alcohol problem, a drug problem, a sexual addiction problem, either messing around with somebody that is either too young or too old, or a person who messes with married people. It's a lot of things that happen in the family, and I just can't get on board with that. I can't get on board with it, and I won't get on board with it. Right, Teresa? I'm going to go back to Teresa's comment here. Most YouTubers' family never even seen their page, not once. That's crazy to me and sad. Well, listen, Teresa, sometimes you could never tell your family members. Like, I have family members that have no idea I'm even a YouTuber, and there's a reason for that. Because why would I share some things that I'm doing if you don't even support me on other levels? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. There's no way. Because I'm tired of all of the, only people in a family sometimes only wants to support you once you make it, I guess you could say. When they see you like make it big, 100K, a million, something like that, then they'll say, oh, that's my sister. See, family members don't know how to ride with you when it's hard for you, when it's tough, when you're struggling. They only want to be there in your highlight reel when you make some type of achievement. Then they want to be there and say, that's my sister, that's my auntie, that's my cousin, that's my daughter. But when the chips fall, as I guess you could say, or when you're struggling, it's ghosts, it's nothing. You don't see anybody around. You're like, hello, 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 hello. Nobody there. So I can say that's my reason. They would never know, some family members. No way would they ever know. You can know someone for a year and they're closer to you than some family. Listen, listen, Teresa, that's a big issue that I have sometimes with family members. You know, family, I do understand family is important, but like I said earlier in the broadcast, um, family is not just people who are related to you by blood. You can also choose family members. I have friends that is closer to me than my own blood. It's not always that family members is good for you. Some family members are toxic. Some people you need to distance from them for various reasons. And sometimes some people, family members, you need to stay away from them because they don't got it all together mentally. Mental health issues really does show up, especially in the Black community. In the Black community, people don't want to admit that they actually need therapy, that they have substance abuse problems, that they need therapy, that that they're having problems, that they need some help with something, that they need some financial assistance. It's nothing wrong. If you need help, you need help. But people want to put on a whatever it called a veil, or they want to pretend to people and make people feel like, oh, I have a lot of money, everything is going good, everything's great in my family. It's okay sometimes if things are not good with you, but don't think you can pretend, because you can only pretend for so long. You can only keep up a facade for a certain period of time, where you're going to have to work on your own issues. And that's the reason why some people, they cover up their issues with a substance, because they don't want to admit to themselves that they have a problem. You can probably count on one hand who watched Pandy. Listen, that's what I'm saying. I don't like that. I don't like that, especially uh, being a YouTuber, and even more so being a Black YouTuber. I get more support from people who don't know me than the people who do, because it's not like I have not told certain people in my family what I do. But my issue comes when I finally tell you what I do you support me? I'm not saying you got to be on every single video I make or anything like that, but have you even looked that I have a channel? Have you even said, I support you, even if it's once a month, one video a month? No, they haven't even looked at your channel. So, for that reason, I stopped telling people about what I do here on YouTube. They know how to show up for the party or cookout, though. Listen, anytime if you see anything free food, free clothes, free whatever, plane ticket, vacation, oh, now they have the time. But if it's something to support you, you're getting an award, something. Oh, it's for you. Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm busy. I gotta do my nails then. I gotta wash my hair. I'm so over that. It's all good, Miss Full Roller. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's crazy how people will think that, I don't know. I don't know what it is about the family, but I think a lot of times that family members, I can't speak for what other family members do, but I think a lot of times some family members think that you only have to support them. But when it comes to you, they don't value you as being anybody. They don't think that you're anybody, that you don't have any importance, you don't have any weight, that they already kind of say, it won't last. It won't last. They won't be successful at that. They're not anybody. They're not anybody special or anything. So that's kind of the reason why I kind of just stay in my own lane, being honest when it comes to my family. I kind of just keep to myself and kind of just walk in silence and do my own thing. Because I think that like, why do I want you to come over on my side, especially here on the internet, to say I won't succeed, to say whatever. YouTube is hard enough. YouTube has enough. It's hard enough. It has enough drama. You don't need to also add family drama to your YouTube channel. That's just my opinion. Yeah, anytime food is offered. Yeah, that's when you'll see them, right, y'all? So I just want to talk about for a little bit mental illness and the mental illness, how it plays a part in adding pain. So many people in not just the Black community, but in all races, but especially in the Black community, there's a big problem with mental illness within the family. Schizophrenia, bipolar, narcissistic behavior, and nobody really talks about it. It's just something like accepted, like it's okay, or people will pretend that it's not as bad as it is, or they'll say things like, oh, that's the way they are, or they've always been that way. And sometimes in the family members, some people need some pills, or they need some treatment. They need some help to detox. They need some help in order to get through what they have going on. Some they just are not right up there. So, I have learned that those family members that have some mental issues, that, don't be mean to them. But I think it's important that sometimes they can be toxic and they can be hazardous to your complete being, to your whole spirit. So you got to be really careful about those in your family that have a mental health issue, and they only want to come at you to get something from you. So be careful, because once you get in that, you go down that rabbit hole of that you're going to support them. They're going to be there every single day, every time they need $1, every time they need some gas money, every time they need you. But, some family relationships, they're not there to serve you. they're only there to serve their own purpose and their own objective. So it's just a warning to be careful and to protect yourself. Please protect yourself. Some family members are really toxic. And even besides that, some family members have a problem with their hands. They like to put their hands on people, fighting, or want to slap people and things like that, which I have zero tolerance for. So be careful on that. Um, and just because people are your family does not mean that you have to continuously accept their drama, accept their whatever. So distance yourself from those people. It's one of those things that is not that you don't love them, but part of loving yourself is not putting yourself in harm's way. You have to love yourself enough to know that I love myself enough to protect my mind, my heart, and my spirit. And some people just is a no-no. It's a no-no. But let you go viral and blow up, folks will be out of the woodwork. Listen, Pandy, don't I know that? Anytime, if it would be something really good like a graduation, some type of success that I got, an achievement at work, something like that, that's when they're going to roll up saying, that's my sister, that's my cousin, that's my auntie. But say I lost my job, are they going to be there to help you? Oh, I can help you to find a job. I can help you to get your car fixed. I can help you to, no, dead air at that point. So you have to learn at a certain point who to put in your circle, and some people you got to remove them. You just got to stop talking to them and stop telling people your business. I say that all the time. I did that on one of my shorts. You got to stop telling people what you're trying to do, because some people don't mean you any good. They mean you harm. They don't want you to succeed. They want pain to come your way. They want you to fail so that they can laugh at you in your face. Unfortunately, not all family members feel very good about you. They actually dislike you. Sometimes they actually hate you. And they hate you with such a passion that they will do anything to make your life miserable. Yes, some family members are better at an arm's length. Listen, Teresa, more than an arm length. Some people, it's better if they're in another state. I don't even want to even run into you at a grocery store. Sometimes it's that bad. It's that bad sometimes. Exactly, Pandy. You don't even have to blow up. Just have a little bit of success and you'll see all kinds of folks. Yeah, that's the thing. When times are, I always say, I want to see people when I'm having hard times. I don't want to see people at my party. I want to see people when I don't know how I'm going to pay a bill, and it's not always a financial that you want to hand out like monetarily, but even just some emotional support for somebody to say, hey, how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to you if you want to talk. Even simple things like that. It's not always a monetary thing. And I think sometimes family members think the only way that they can help you is financially. There's more than one way that you can support a family member. You can support somebody emotionally. You can feed a person spiritually by just encouraging them, just being a friend. But it has to be at the root of who they are as a person. If they're not happy and satisfied within themselves, then they don't know how to do that, and they don't know how to be that. It ends up being a dangerous cycle. Toxic family members have to put the folks dealing with them 6 feet under long before they should have gone to be one with them. to be one with the soil. Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes I have dealt with that too, Miss Full Roller. Sometimes people have to completely be out of your life. And I mean, sometimes uh, passed away. That's a sad thing. Sometimes I have to pass away, move away, or go away, like in prison or something, that you know that it's safe now for you to be able to move forward in your life, or to be able to get some therapy, or even to get some healing. Because sometimes when you see certain family members in your life, it kind of, I don't know how to say it, but it kind of bruises the pain. It's like you remove the scab from the pain. It's like you keep having the pain over and over again, like a scratch record. So that wound never gets to heal. It's always being like pouring some salt into your wound instead of allowing time, love, and tenderness to heal your pain. And sometimes you can't do that while they are around. Yeah, it is so true. And another reason why some family members hurt us so bad is because they are in a place in their life where they're not happy with themselves. They're miserable. Things aren't going good for them. So they don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want to believe that you have a potential. They don't want to know that you know that you're somebody who can do things maybe that they're not willing to do. Because let's face it, some family members are just lazy. They're lazy. They don't want to try anything new. They want to ride off the coattails of the success of other family members. And this is sad, it's pathetic, it's painful, it's all of those things. But I just want to tell you guys that just because somebody is related to you by blood, it does not mean that you have to allow yourself to be in a cycle of pain with them and keep letting them hurt you. You don't have to keep being in contact with people who hurt you. You don't have to keep telling them your business. You don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to accept their phone calls or letters or whatever it is. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to, especially if they are toxic, because some family members are toxic. They have some mental issues, they have abusive tendencies, and they have caused you a lot of pain. And if you want to move forward in your life and heal from some wounds, that some things that they have done to you or other family members have done to you, the only way that you can heal from it is you gotta keep them out of your life. You gotta stop being around and being in association with them. And it's easier said than done, because some family members, they always try to invite themselves to things or try to be around. You can be cordial with them, but you don't have to hang around. You don't have to go to all the family occasions if you know it's going to be something that is going to trigger you or cause you to have some pain. Because don't we all have family members that as soon as you show up, they have to have something to say that's mean or cruel, like saying things like, "Oh, look at you, you gained weight. Look at you, you still haven't done this, or you still haven't done that," or uh, um, I heard about this. Some like they'll bring up something that just happened to you that they know will cause you some pain, but they'll just say anything out of their mouth to be able to cause you some pain and some hurt. And that feels good to them. What do they call them? A sadist, a person who gets enjoyment from other people's demise. They get enjoyment out of seeing other people suffer. And that's really sick. The sick is demented, that some people are that ways, but that's just what it is. That is just what it is. Hi, Robert. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, it's true, Miss Full Roller. How are you doing, Robert? Thank you so much for coming. Ooh. Mm-mm-mm. Ain't nothing but a can of worms, Miss Full Roller and chat. It's just some people is just sick. They have mental issues, and I'm just not willing to co-sign to that. And it does take a man or a woman to be able to know that they deserve better. And that's what it takes sometimes. You have to be willing now. It's like, I'm not willing to allow myself to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not willing to make somebody else make me upset. I'm not willing to allow people to treat me badly. Don't allow people and say just because people are family in the quotes that they're good for you. Some family members are not good for you. They are not good for you. They're going to keep pulling on you until you're at zero. Everything, they'll take everything you have. They'll take from you financially. They'll take from you spiritually. They'll take from anything that they can get from you. Any way that they could see you broken, any way that they can see you cry. I don't know if you guys have ever had family members like that. If you get upset, they are happy, like have a smile on their face, and then they'll say something to get you like revved up so that they can get a rise out of you. So you gotta realize those type of people and then say, oh, they want to see me get mad. They want to see me get upset. Don't lower your standard to theirs. You know, some family members don't deserve your friendship. They don't deserve your love. They don't deserve your kindness. They don't deserve you, and you don't have to be around them. And for a long time, I was in that phase thinking that because they're my family member, I have to make it work. And sometimes it will never work. That's what I learned. It will never work. They will never work out because they're not the right person for you to be around because they're toxic, they're dangerous. No, stay away from them. That's the best thing that you can do. Some people, you just got to stay away from them. I know, Robert. So you just got to stop. Honestly, I had to go through my phone and just start deleting phone numbers out of my phone. Just stop answering text messages or phone calls. If you only are going to call me to tell me about the drama or talk about other people in the family, like I don't have time for that negative energy. And it's just what it is. It's negative. It will just pull from you. It will make it actually makes you feel physically ill. I don't know if it's happened to you guys before, but like when you're around some people, it just makes you feel like they draw everything from you. Like after being around certain family members, I just have to go and take a nap. They drain you completely, or they give you a headache. It's just, whoa, it's just way too much. And I always say life is way too short to allow people to take away from your peace. Don't allow people to take away from your peace of mind. They don't, they don't, life is way too short for people to take away from your peace of mind and to stop you from feeling joyful, because that's just what they'll do. They'll keep drawing from you and pulling from you until you're in the ground dead. Some people won't be satisfied until they can do something to make you not be around anymore. And or they're going to keep taking from you until you're either bankrupt or something, or you move away. Because some people, honestly, you got to move around, move away from certain family members. Because if you stay in that certain area, you never will have any peace. But one of the best decisions is to move away if you are around a lot of toxic people in your family, because you're never going to what do you call flow, and your light will never get to rise in your life if you're always surrounded by a negative environment, negative space, negative thinking. Yes, you can have positive thinking and you can love yourself and all of that. But sometimes you got to get away from them. You got to move away. If it's possible for you to move away from those toxic people, I recommend it. I recommend it. Your joy, your peace, and your finances will probably proliferate after that time. Everything will succeed after you move away from the toxic people. It really helped me a lot to move away from toxic people. You have, I know, Miss Fuller, it's something else when you go through certain situations in your life, and it's amazing how you can see how resilient and how strong you are. And I want you to pat yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back. And it's important that you encourage yourself and tell yourself, I'm proud of you because you are making a hard decision to choose your peace of mind, to choose your happiness, to choose to love yourself, to choose peace and forgiveness. Because it's not easy to forgive people when they have done wrong to you, but it's so important to choose to forgive them. Not that you are accepting what they did, but you are forgiving them because you're not going to allow them to have a hold on you anymore. I forgive you so that I can let you go and I can live my life. That's something that I had to do. It's important to forgive them so that you can no longer be angry, so that you can draw in all of the right type of people and the right type of energy towards you. I deal with the toxic ones from a distance, sad but true. I understand, Pandy. And sometimes that's just what you have to do. You just got to make a decision to say, enough is enough. And the thing is that you can love people, and you have to learn sometimes that I have to love myself more than them. You have to make a decision. Are you going to die unhappy, or are you going to live and succeed and have peace and have love for yourself? You got to make a decision to choose to love yourself more than them. And sometimes that's just what you got to do. Say, I choose me. And you got to cut the umbilical cord from people who are not going to help you to grow and to be happy how you want to be happy. You know what I mean? So I thank you guys. I enjoyed the discussion today. Thank you, Miss Full Roller, and the chat for this discussion and sharing your thoughts and your opinions on this topic of why family members hurt us and cause us so much pain. It's an ongoing debate, but remember to choose yourself first. Choose yourself first, and to not allow family members, because they are related to you by blood, thinking that you have to stay around those people. You don't. Distance yourself from them and forgive them, let go, so that you can move forward in your life. So blessings to everybody in the chat and those who watch in the replay. Thank you so much. Leave me a comment down below to anybody who's watching in the replay. What helps you to cope with pain from family members and how they hurt you? So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all the likes and the shares. I appreciate all of you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video and live stream. And you know what I always say here on my channel, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. Bye-bye, guys.
Be inspired. Be yourself. You will survive.